ahead, right? I've not seen a place whereby you think that you can't tell students to go back to an exam in 3 days. Like, it is ridiculous, right? So, first thing first, if we are really serious here, and this is the thing I've always said, as we need to act in unison. If we are really serious, Jack, what we should be talking about now is where is the account number that we can raise the cost of paying for a son first thing tomorrow morning? Who here knows a son that we can be consulting with tonight that is going to slam an injunction on JAMB tomorrow morning? And then other things, because
Chukudi, this is actually a very brilliant idea, honestly, if you ask me. I mean, I've never really thought of it this way, and I think it's a good thing. So while we're on this space, let me speak to a lawyer.
yeah,
Yeah, why this space
our
is
best bet
on?
is getting a senior advocate. Anybody here who knows a senior advocate can DM you. Let us know what is the senior advocate going to
Yeah.
charge us to slam an injunction tomorrow, to file for an injunction tomorrow that the exam should be delayed until certain things are met. First and foremost, you need to consult. This is, you see, I don't want to go straight off and say this is an attack, but the fact is, if it barks like a dog, you question. Like somebody did say earlier on, if you tell me that you have two centers where your servers are, you have a server in Kaduna, you have a server in Lagos. So Lagos server only caters to Lagos and the entire southeast. How so? Lagos doesn't cater to southwest, neither does it jumped south and went straight to cater for the southeast. So it's questionable. And the truth is, if we're a country where restitution is important to us, these are things that needs to be first of all explained before we start talking about the date for the exam. Because it's not like this exam is something that you're saying, oh, if we don't have this result by the end of next month, then there's going to be a problem, right? First and foremost is to say, see, this is what actually happened. Release a proper statement. Have a stakeholder consultation, right? With the region that is affected, the commissioners of education in this region. But that is the funny thing as well. The commissioner of education in these regions have not released a statement anywhere in the world by now. Even if it's 2-line statement, they will release and say, "Oh, we will release a more detailed one later." But by now, you will be hearing press statements from the commissioners of education, because this is something that has to do with your primary assignment to ensure that the education of your state is, and in the first place, that the fact that you are not even responsible for the inquiry that led to this should actually make you so angry right now that everybody should be back and sitting in front of televisions and granting interviews and granting statements. But as usual, most of them are appointed just to fill quotas and all of that. So they don't even know their primary assignment. So I think that I don't want us to start going round and round. There are a lot of things we can say. But the first thing first, if we are serious that this exam should not hold, which I particularly believe it shouldn't hold, because even me as an adult at this age of my life, sorry, you cannot tell me to come back to an exam in 3 days, even though no matter what, even if I'm on annual leave, I am not going to come back to it. Not to now talk of teenagers who are holding other exams. You have just come in all of a sudden to tell them, oh, there is a glitch. And then you know what, come back in this thing. So that is unacceptable. And the only way we can say, if we are really serious as a people to make a statement, is that we'll get a lawyer who is going to file for an injunction tomorrow why this should not hold. And then we can now come back to start talking about the other inquiries that need to go in, because certain things need to be explained. In the last previous 5 years, has Lagos cluster been responsible for only Lagos and the Southeast? These are questions that we need to ask. Is there evidence to show that this is the thing? Or it only started this year? And if it started this year, then why was that decision taken? We need to understand, was it overloading, that Kaduna was now overloaded and Lagos had to? So there needs to be some explanation to be done. And then we can now start demanding the top hierarchy. Some people have started making it a whole thing of tribalism. In any sane climb, that press statement would have not ended without the person at the helm of affairs tendering his resignation, because you have cost 300 and something thousand young children their sleep. That is enough for you. Like, you should not even be, even the president in any country by this time, minister of education, all of them will be giving out their statements. But it is our country. So, my brothers and sisters, Ogonogo Kadura no Chichi, no Kambede. if we know that we are serious, me, I'm ready to contribute my own money. If we get a bill tonight, we are serious people. Over how many of us are on this space? Let us put our token together. Let us file for an injunction, and let us continue with further inquiry into this. But it will be the worst thing of our generation that we keep saying we have a voice and we can speak. A voice is not to come to Twitter and tweet morning till night. This is where a voice matters. If we cannot protect the generation behind us, then we can as well just all of us beat out. Because what has happened now is that the past has been affected, the present, which is us, has been affected, and the future is where they have now gone to. So when is it going to stop? So that man, we need to file an injunction. The man needs to resign. All the top executive who is involved, whether you're Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, anybody, so long as you are involved in this madness, you need to step aside. And then the parameters after the consultation with stakeholders and all of that, and people, parents, at least a PTA session representatives, you need to consult with all these people. And then you now start finding solutions. It's not just waking up and thinking that you are Lord and Almighty and doing this thing. Thank you. My head is all over the place, but I think it's the injunction that I'm more interested in. Thank you.
Okay, Chukudi, I mean, this dimension you took this conversation to is really, really interesting. And
You know, I like
I
very well. I like pain.
yeah. I mean, you're always very practical, and I like this idea. Yeah, and this is very, very good. It's going to be very effective because they dare not, disobey court orders. I mean, at least anyway. Let's hope that they will not disobey because anything is still possible in Nigeria. Yeah, but maybe we can also activate another, line. I think that while we are going for the court order, yeah, the court injunction, I'm going to try to talk to a few senior lawyers. Yeah, I don't know if we're able to get senior advocates, but if we are not, I know that there are really quite some senior lawyers that we have in our folds that
Jack,
I'm able to
Jack,
speak to. Yeah.
if we are all gathered here and we cannot get a senior advocate, we should just consider ourselves that we are much more useless than JAMB. Let me just say it that way. If we cannot hear as
No,
people
no,
who
no,
take
no,
one
no,
land
Chukudi, hold on. No,
cannot
Chukudi,
get
hold
a
on.
senior
Chukudi,
advocate,
hold on.
we
I'm
are
talking
more
about,
useless
I'm
than
talking,
JAMB. Let us say
we have senior, don't worry, we have senior advocates. We have quite a number of them actually. We have senior advocates. I'm only talking about senior advocates that are, again, you know that, the fees for senior advocates, they can be quite high sometimes. So that's
what
also
I'm
one of the
saying. We
things you need
cannot
to
be
consider.
pumping champagne and all the whiskey all the time. Every time we are forming, oh, are you seeing our clothing? Imakwande Igbo. If we cannot all pay as Igbos, pay for a senior advocate to file for an injunction tomorrow, we should all get out and stop talking.
All right, sir. Thank you. I believe you. All right. Adidemili, you've been coming and going. I think it's your turn to go. Please just take the mic. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, Jack.
Good evening.
Anyway, network issue, glitches, or my own network glitch. See, this thing JAMB is doing is really, see, all these things for me is premeditated. For they have the people they are targeting. Before the in fact, before Tinubu came in, JAMB, once you write your JAMB, when they started this CBT, the result was on real time. Once they finish writing today, by tomorrow, their results start trickling out. Until Tinubu came in, everything results started taking 2 weeks before JAMB brings out people's results. See, let's tell ourselves the truth. These guys, they know what they are doing. They know what they are doing. All these fake tears or whatever, he should just join Nollywood. He shouldn't be a such director of an exam body, and he should just leave that office. And ka m kwuo ihe a n'Igbo, university is in na southeast, I think this is the time they should start Edechagodu JAMB and start calling our people to come and write exam. Kunu wee nye ha admission. Because from what I'm seeing, these people are finding a way to disenfranchise our children from gaining education, university education. Because it's really embarrassing that someone that scored 300 and something will be rewriting JAMB again. It's really, really embarrassing. It gives me headache. And when you ask, they will tell you quota system, that there is a system how they give exam, educationally different, disenfranchised state or whatever, I don't know, that they consider them and all whatnot. It's not proper. Because if it's like that in Western world, most of our people won't be going abroad to do masters or what, or do their first degree, because their system is just once you pass their exam of coming into you gain your admission, or once you applied for your admission with your criteria, nobody will come and tell you you a black or you a green or whatever before giving you admission. So a lot overhaul should be done in the education ministry, or what Nigeria system of education. A lot is going on, and that is why this country is dying and dying and dying. Mr. Oloyede should just resign. And this Saturday of fixing exam, how come? Children's mental health are affected. These children are battling a lot. Coming to tell them to resit for exam is really on Saturday or what, is really something is wrong with them. It shows that that all of them, they are JAMB, their senses are not correct. Like, it's really heartbreaking. And some people were rejoicing and celebrating this. A whole minister of education was proud of massive failure in exam system in his country. Something that he should bow his head in shame. In a developed country, they will start looking into what caused the massive failure. Is it the curriculum? Is it what is happening? Are the children losing interest in education or what? But they were celebrating that massive failure is a sign that they are working to prevent exam malpractice. You can imagine. Instead of you to know that massive failure shows that there is a problem in the education system in the country, that something is wrong somewhere, which is not even, how many people do this malpractice, which is not even malpractice. People were giving excuses. People, even some that call themselves lawyers, were writing this is that. We have a very big problem in this country. And from what I've seen, these people, like this government, is out to destroy both education, anything. They are out to ruin it. WAEC, why will an exam body like WAEC delete a tweet they made in 2014 where they were commending a state and the governor for the performance of WAEC in the state, all because the governor contested for a presidential election? A whole exam body like WAEC, West Africa Examination Council of Examinations Council, deleted read such tweet, this should call for concern to every citizens of Nigeria. For me, anything that comes out from JAMB, as long as this government is, as long as this Tinubu government, APC government is on seat, I can never ever in my life believe anything that comes out from anybody, any organization in this country. I can never ever believe them again. My trust issue with JAMB and WAEC is 0% now. Children are out there burning their midnight candles. Even most of us here are graduates, just scoring E in a course, we all know how it affects our mental health. You start checking your CGP, your GP to know how far. Talk more of, and just children that are just beginning to start life in Nigeria, and they're experiencing something like this, and everybody is relaxed. Let me say it again, and the president is not even concerned. There is zero concern in all this thing. During past leadership, I know they will call the JAMB director or the Minister of Education to question them. But have the Minister of Education said anything? What of the presidency? Everybody is mute. The Senate, everybody is quiet. And most of us, the citizens, and some of us think this is normal. Don't worry. If you think this is normal, if it doesn't affect you, tomorrow you will be a victim. Like Aisha Yusuf used to say, that today's survivor or what? Abi, yesterday's survivor are today's victim, or tomorrow's victim, or today's victim. That's how she used to put that thing. If we keeping quiet on this APC government, I swear to God, it will ruin everybody. Look at this young girl that committed suicide, 19 years old. 19 years old. This girl might be, she might be a girl struggling to enter university. It might be somebody, maybe the parents suffered to raise money to pay for this JAMB for her. And she decided to add every effort in her to pass the exam. And at the end, JAMB did this. And she took her life. And some people were saying, some people on the timeline say, oh, you took your life because of JAMB. Because of JAMB. You took your life because of JAMB.
We're wrapping up so that we can get other people to come in.
What I want to say, we Nigerian citizens, if we don't wake up, this APC government will sink us.
Can you guys hear me? All right.
Yes, I can hear you, Jack.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because just wrap up, so that we can bring other people in. Thank you.
So let me wrap up. JAMB, I'm telling JAMB, these children are not reciting the exam. Go and bring out their score. Give them their score. Or for me, I'm advocating for people. Let the masses come out and sue JAMB. Yes, let the masses. I will contribute to that. If there is any way they are paying for taking JAMB to court over this, I will be 100% behind it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Adidemili. Thank you so much for your contribution. So guys, I think we have to make it a bit more quicker because there's a couple of Mazi is okay. I've been trying to bring you up. You said you have you know, an information for us, and I've been trying to bring you up to the space. I wouldn't know. Icon, please, maybe you should send the mic to Mazi. Is okay if you can see him. But Max, please go 3 minutes, please. Let's make it snappy. But meanwhile, wake up, please. Hold on. Meanwhile, please, if you're on the space and then you are led, like you want to maybe contribute to getting an injection tomorrow. I'm still trying to talk to lawyers. We specifically want to use a senior advocate for this particular issue. So I've not been able to get exact amount, but I would also announce that, just so that everybody is aware of what we have gotten. So if you are interested, please, if you're led by the Spirit, nobody is coercing anybody. If you want to be part of it, right, you want to contribute to it, just come to my DM, and we're going to make that happen. All right. So Max, please go ahead. 3 minutes. Thank you. Before we come
Okay,
to wake
thank,
up, please meet your mic.
th-
Yeah.
thank you, Jack. Jack,
Sorry, please, if
the
there's
first thing,
anyone that has finished and going down, please, so that we can bring more people up because we have no space, please. Thank you.
Jack, I just want to give a very little historical background. You see, like Sheikh Chukwudi said, you know, people are left with no choice than to look at patterns and with couple with improper explanation deliberately and now begin to feel that it is tribal. In 1952, data showed that the premier university in Nigeria, University of Ibadan, Ndi Igbo had just 3 students less than the student of the whole of Western region, just 3 students less. Within that same period, and there is a Lagos State population census, as well as Lagos State population census of 2006 under Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that was able to put together and prove for those that have access to the 2006 own, but that of 1950 something and 1940 something is available online, especially on JSTOR, proving that in Lagos State, after the indigenous population, the Ndi Igbo has not below 50% of the population then. And the 2006 proved that that population, 50% of non-indigenous, that Ndi Igbo control in Lagos has gone up more than twice of that. So it's not by mistake that this affected Lagos and then affected the whole of Igbo land. Is intentional. You see, this glitch thing, by the way, if you check the meaning of glitch, it has to do with errors from machine manufacturing. It has nothing to do with human error. Human errors are not glitch. And this is the pattern they want to adopt. This is just a trial. If you know how Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu works as a politician, you will see that within time, this Ishak Oloyede will not, even if he's forced to resign, he will be recommended for something higher, for giving them a platform and a pattern to deal with the people. Everybody in Nigeria will not shout about this. It is only in Igbo. So it is intentional. Let me tell you something, just like someone said here earlier on. If it were to be a glitch, and you feel you want to correct it, because when you fill a form online and you submit, the first thing the form does that it saves. The only thing you need to do is to pull out a particular disk where you have all the submitted work. You run a new whatever software, then you reload the data. JAMB begin to falter and begin to fear because Onya begin to demand that we want to see, the students want to see their exam scripts. They want to see that what they ticked was what they marked. Meaning that with that database, JAMB can afford to print out all the questions that all the students wrote. After all, they are all OBJ. You cannot be marked down by expression. It is from A to A, B, C, D, or E. So they knew that if they don't come out to put out this charade they put up now and quickly begin to cajole people to go rewrite, if they are compelled to bring out what these students wrote, the shame will be on them the more. It is deliberate. Ndigo is targeted. If you take time to look at the places affected in Lagos, you are going to see the Oshodi Solo, the area that cover Agopala, Sue, Okota, and Co, the first stack area. You're going to see the Etiosa, the area that covered VI, Aja, Ekpe. You are going to see Sulere. You are going to see the places where this Ndigo that made up over 50% of non-indigenous population in Lagos stays. It is deliberate. They put it together and they ran it as a trial. If nothing happens now, it becomes a system they will always adopt. The danger of this kind of thing is that it means that even in our own premier universities, UNM, UNIZIK, and so many like that, you might have it impossible to actually admit your own people, even when they are very good. But because they did not score up to the level to actually take part in post UMTE. You know what that also means? It also means that with this kind of madness they call glitch, even though glitch has to do with mistakes made by machine, manufacturing, not human error. Because Sonia said it is obviously a human error. And remember, there's a thin line between malicious wickedness and human error. Are there independent investigators who could look at this software and actually come out to tell us it is not deliberate, even though I know, because I can see the pattern. The pattern is obvious. Shebi una Bibo, una say una they go to school, we are going to actually show you people. There's no two ways about it. Anyway, Jack, I appreciate this opportunity you gave to me. I just feel that we have to pursue it on a Hydra-headed platform. Just like Chikodi said, suing, we have to sue them. Just like Oya is also pursuing it in a diplomatic way, strategic diplomacy, we have to also pursue it. We have to have lawyers, whether small lawyers, young lawyers, multiple sue. I can assure you, not too long. You see some people come online and say they want to counter sue us. You see some people come online and say this man will not go. We know it. It happens in Nigeria every day. But it is intentional. Our argument should also be channeled. Why are Igbo lands subordinate to Lagos in terms of JAMB softwares? If we are actually Southeast, as they call us, should we not actually have our own where a particular disk or server takes care of these people? A lot is happening to Ndigo, and I'm trying everywhere. And so I can only conclude. I'm trying everywhere. Somehow, it's supposed to Germany. Like one of our brother, Ndigo was the only people jello ara, yet Luzo, yet Ndinus alcohol, now chop another. It's not only on JAMB, it is also a policy that government has employed and they've been doing it. I just hope that we're able to give them enough trouble. And at the end of the day, you can only die once. I yield the mic. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Max. Thank you for your contribution. Mazi, let's quickly get your information. Thank you. Good evening. Mazi is okay.
Yeah, good evening, Jack. I must say that, guys, I am lost of words. It's quite sad to start off with that it appears JAMB has learned from INEC. And, again, this thing will continue because there was a glitch in INEC. There was no consequences. There is now a greater glitch in JAMB, and somebody only cried, and there is no consequences. So we expect it to happen again, but to actually add salt to injury is that this happened to the five southeastern states. I mean, thunder doesn't strike one location at once. Listen, guys, it will be very hard, in as much as one wants to be nationalistic and think, broadly, but it beats one's heart to basically want to accept that this thing is going to just happen just like that. However, I hear when Shekan Alo was saying, talked about using a son to sue or get an injunction. I can hear and I feel our emotion on this. It's really terrible. But recall that ndị Igbo si na ewelu iwe gbuo nwere ike gbupụ isi. I quickly made a call to those that were involved in this interface with JAMB, as to what they are thinking. Now, I am made to understand that, this is sad and is a tragedy that if we do anything to scuttle these children taking the exam on Friday and Saturday, it would then mean that they will take that exam in August. And if they so do, they will no longer get admission this year. Now, we are between a hard place and a rock. So, by way of information, I think please let this guide our decision. And if there are other things that we can do from the information now, Amara Maya Chozi, Kaibuzio Mazi Nwebua, if there is a way, the information now, Buna, if we press to stop this, then the consequences will be greater.
Mazi, I don't entirely agree with you because this is, first of all, this is already a national tragedy. Number one, I remember the kind of fire people in government today gave to PDP when there was a stampede at the national stadium, when the then Minister of Interior, I think, the current senator organized an aptitude test, right? And some people, there was a stampede at the national stadium. I know what happened in this country at that time. I know the kind of fire the opposition then gave to the federal government, the PDP then. So mine is this, right? No matter how you want to see this, the people's lives were involved, right? It is even unfair and inhuman to these young children, to these kids, to these teenagers, for you to not even care about their mental health, their emotional being and everything. You're not interested about the monies they will spend. There is no form of restitution from JAMB, Mazi. I think that we should actually get to that stage.
Look, Nanya.
Mazi, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. Mazi, hold on. I understand what you're saying, but I need you to actually see this from the perspective that, look, if you're in the shoes of these children, at this point, which is more important to you, getting into university at this point, or actually getting even the university that you're talking about? Now people set the timelines now. Mazi, you're talking about university timelines and everything, and the time JAMB can decide to reset their timelines. They are human beings. If they are forced to do the right things, whatever thing, why should, if it did not happen this what is it called, this Sunday, or sorry, this Friday, you're saying it has to be August for whatever thing it will cost. Let it be in August, but they should still be able to get admission this year, for goodness sake. That is the point I'm trying to make. And if the timelines of universities taking in students has to be changed for this purpose, let it be done. That should be the consequences of the actions of JAMB this time around. If Mazi, the 2025 budget is not in use up until today. Are you aware? Are you aware that 2025 budget will kickstart from June 30th? Nigeria is a place where anything can happen. I am not buying the idea that students should actually, these young people should actually go and sit for this exam on Friday, which is next tomorrow. I am not buying the idea. It is inhuman. It is injustice. And if we don't make a statement this time, Maz, you see, I've listened to you most of the times when you caution on things like this, I usually listen. But you see, on this one, I beg to disagree with you, sir. I
No, man,
disagree vehemently.
Jack Nanya, there are two things we must know. Uh,
Mm.
I was even with Chooks at the back channel. I was already trying to get a son, and there is a son that many of us know, from the southeast. We are actually penciled three people down, but on a second thought, I said, okay, this person actually many of us know, a former minister, was also involved in this. Let me actually reach out to see, pick his brain on this. But to understand, because at the end of the day, I don't know. All of us know here. The reason why we left whatever we are doing and come here is to vent and rant and actually demand, because because whatever he has done, in my view, well, some ethnic connotation. I mean, there is no way anybody can explain that away. However, if this suggestion was made, my only thing is nas n'ezie mmadụ ozizi ọgaranya n'ezie ya ebute na ọya ebunwu. I said, let me convey that to us so that whatever decision moving forward that will be made, that this would also be taken into cognizance. Do you understand? So it doesn't mean that the moment this thing is, the information is unveiled, that it means everybody has to then accept it, but also to know that I am made to understand that even before they made this date, announced the date, that they had already made this argument with them. And sadly, that was the only kind of date that they were able to find. I was angry, but hey, my own is just basically to say that to our hearing for all of us to know. But I think I agree with you perfectly. If there is anything that, I even argued, I think the school starts in September. I even argued, even if it means that, even if it means they take it in August and school starts, it's not the kids' fault. If there is a way they can even, after all, these things are done electronically and done it, get it quickly as possible and let them still use it. I don't know how possible that will be. But again, let us know that some of these thoughts has already gone into that, and those that actually represented our interest, because they were those that flagged off this ab initio and followed it up. So it's not like somebody being, plucking itself from anywhere. It was those that started, that looked at it and said, no, something is not right here, and started the fight and eventually engaged in that fight and, got to this point. On that note, I yield. Thank you.
Okay, Mazi, thank you. Thank you for the information. Even though I would have loved to have the minister here, and the former minister here, and possibly Alex Onya here, because there are some key questions, maybe some gray areas we need to ask some key questions, right? As to a
That,
few things. But
I
yeah.
think no, I think what we'll do after this space, I had tried before now to speak to Alex with Chuka, but Alex in the past 2 hours has not been picking call. So you should understand that, what we want to do, not to say that one is not concerned. What we want to do is to, do anything from a place of information. Do you understand?
No,
For
I
me,
get that. I get that. I
for
get
me,
that.
sir, for me, they should actually pay every student whatever cost it is. But hey, that's my thinking. But again, things probably may not work that way. But let's keep engaging before I must insist that we'll speak to these individuals tonight before eventually, if further actions are going to be taken by tomorrow. Right? Thank you.
Okay, Mazi, that's fine. I mean, I'm also still engaging in a senior advocate. I will possibly come back and give us a response on that. All right, I can go ahead. I think you want to make a remark.
Yes, I wanted to say, Mazi, thank you so much. But I think while you were speaking, while I agree I see where you're coming from. I couldn't help thinking that the reason we're where we are in Nigeria is because we're always willing to negotiate, step back, forgive. We now have a culture like what we are teaching these kids is that doing everything right gets you nothing. Nigeria has offered these kids nothing. They've probably all paid their school fees. Most of them bought their JAMB forms themselves. They've worked hard. They've worked without electricity. They've worked without water. They have literally gotten themselves to this point. And the only thing that they expected from this godforsaken people is to actually mark their exams. Like they've done everything that is expected of them. The same things that is done in other countries, and then they get results. And then now we're telling them that everything that they worked for stands for nothing and that they should retake this exam. And we've accepted that these kids should take this exam again without understanding, without even like having a true understanding of what happened and why they are being put in this position. What are we teaching them? What are we teaching our children? And I think we need to start addressing things from that perspective, because this is what happened. This is the same nonsense that INEC pulled, glitch, and here we are with the worst government that that we've ever had to experience, and we're about through this at such a tender age. Somebody has died. A child killed herself because of this exam. Aren't we tired of all the time people are dying for nothing in Nigeria? Can we stand for one person? Most of the things that have happened in Nigeria have caused revolutions in other places. Yet here we stand over and over and over and over and over again, people dying for nothing. So I'm asking that, please, for the first time, that at least we push back. Let it be that we did not win, right? But like, okay, they have done their bit, but there's more of us. So even if 10 of them went into that room, there's millions of us, and we should fight for these children. That even if they have to retake that exam, right? Because we understand that for whatever reason, it's impossible to mark those scripts as is right now, but that they understand why they're being made to go through this, that somebody is held accountable, people are held accountable before we put them through that. Thank you.
Icon, I think their only
accept the explanation I've given as the truth on this matter. I apologize and take full responsibility, not just in words. I want to say a big thank you to all of you, and may God bless us all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Actions. Do you understand? I will be ashamed of myself because the way I see it, I wrote JAMB. Do you understand? All of us have been through these processes. We know what you go through to actually do these things in Nigeria. We know what these kids actually went through to write these exams. So let nobody come here and make it look like, oh, it's a simple thing. You understand? You paid for these exams. You catered for your accommodation. You were meant to wake up in unholy hours and risk your life to go to JAMB centers by 6:30 a.m. On top of that, somebody has not been able to pay for actually, whatever thing, whatever glitch or whatever error that happened or whatever thing. It's a negligence. Somebody needs to pay for it. We need to see it that somebody actually went to jail or somebody was meant to pay for this or meant to pay for that. That is what we're saying. You need to address this. If you want to address it as quick as possible, do that. You understand? I believe that they can still write JAMB in between WAEC timetables. If that is what has to happen, let it happen. But JAMB cannot be allowed to force these children to go. Even if it's by night, we need to get the court injunction. We need to do it. I think that is the right thing to do. I am convinced deep down in my heart. Even if I have Osita Chidoka here and Alex on here, I will argue very strongly and tell them that this is the right thing to do For once, let us do the right things in this country and get people to pay for their sins. Not every other time we go just relax. That is how we allow these people to announce result, a fake result by 4 a.m. That is how. That is how our lives has been turned upside down for the past 2 years. That is how. I'm so angered. Anyways, for whatever it takes, I think that we should actually go ahead and do this. Honestly, that's how I feel about it. But anyway, let's get some more opinions. So, Jimmy, you have been coming up and going on, going down. Please, let's get your opinion, and then we can go to other people. Thank you, Jimmy.
All right, thank you guys. Thanks. I've been going up and down, really and truly. I'm gonna be quick with this. So I already made a tweet about it. My opinion on this: it's not a glitch. It's a coordinated assault on a certain region of that country. You can't call it whatever it is you want to call it, but it is just too much of a coincidence that certain people, certain region of that country, had to go through this. So the number one thing that is actually meant to happen right now is the the fact that they should acknowledge that it's a deliberate educational assault, and it's targeted at the southeastern part of the country. I mean, we're not blind, for crying out loud. We can see the figures, and we can see the regions that are well affected by this. The students, they burnt candle in the midnight. And the way this thing happened, it wasn't as if JAMB came out to say, hold up, something went wrong. Nah, it was the compilation of complaints from students, compilation of complaints from parents that led to this. It was the pressure that led to this. And upon that, a lady, a young girl, killed herself because of this. How disappointed she was because of this. I think, in as much as we know that Nigeria has become a country that that doesn't respect rule of law, I strongly believe some steps need to be taken, and it's not because you expect or you're hopeful that something needs to be done. It's um, we can call it a paper trail to show that due diligence were followed, the way it's meant to in the same client. Okay, that needs to happen to build confidence in certain institutions in that country that needs to still uphold what we call justice. Um, you cannot go about this the harsh way, but I think what people need to do needs to be coordinated. It needs to be a coordinated attempt. So I think a protest is not a bad idea. It might not end up the way people want it to end up. Again, paper trail. Show the people of your displeasure. Let them know this is a targeted situation, and you need to call it out for what it is. It is not for violence, but you're doing it for the visibility of letting people know that you're demanding for independent audit of these results. Then you can approach the senators of the five eastern states, the House of Reps, the governors. Approach them, reach out to them, put pressure on them, let them speak about what is going on right now, what had happened, the the madness that has befallen the southeastern part of that country. Make this a media thing. Make it a media thing. Petition international media, human rights bodies, contact. Make it a paper trail whereby they know you made these moves regarding this. This isn't a call for tribal chaos. Let me put that outright. It is not a call for tribal chaos. This is a call for justice, fairness, and equity. If the system can fail you in silence, then you must make noise until silence is no more possible. You need to do something. And the Southeasterners, what you're doing is you're demanding a fair playing ground for your kids. You're demanding that hard work should count, not where your tribal um, personality befalls. No, that's not the point. You're asking for accountability. And if you suppress people's access to education, you provoke their fight for dignity. That one is you can't go back and forth on that one. But lastly, what I will suggest is this. My suggestion, besides what I've just mentioned now, I think the whole goddamn jam needs to be cancelled. They need to rewrite the whole jam. The percentage of people that error happened to, it is so concerning. Number one, they don't even know. They said it's human glitch. I don't care whatever glitch it is. That glitch might have actually substituted people's grades to another people when not sabi anything. They don't carry. So they now they've passed, right? This is huge enough for the whole goddamn jam for 2025 to be eradicated or rewritten. Let me put it that way. To be rewritten, and the student that actually got affected by this error, they will be justified based on that. They will be justified because number one, what is the possibility that the people that you claimed passed, they actually did pass that jam? The errors are just too much. We're not talking about 100 people, 200, 300. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of people. Let's not forget that it's focused on a specific region. The reason why we should be pushing for this is because of the violation of principle of fairness. Principle of fairness. Everyone that wrote that jam, they need to have it. There needs to be a stigma on the educational system of that country that so thing happened that made people cancel jam for that year. This should be it. So it won't look like some people passed jam, some people did not. No, 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 no. The calamity is so huge enough to justify them rewriting all the. If you know, say you sabi book, you knew what you read for, you were prepared for. Why can't you write your jam? So it's absolutely unfair because we don't know the extent of the glitch. It could be a glitch that substituted or switched marks. We never knew. So we need to look into this and the massive impact on university admission. We need to think about that as well. The chunk, close to 400,000 students. It is coming from a specific region, guys. Specific region. Man, it's absolutely insane. And for that, for JAM to build their credibility amongst international community, amongst national community, amongst the students and parents, they need to rewrite that jam. Not just for the people that actually failed it, but for the whole people that wrote that jam. Because the integrity of jam has been tampered with. So hold on. They want to rush people to write jam on Friday and Saturday. So what happens if they don't pass? Because they need time. So what is this based on? Are they going to rewrite? Is it going to be a different question? Are they going to repeat the same question for? I don't get it. So it's easy for them to say, they will rewrite it Friday, and it takes time. It takes them a bloody 1 year to prepare for jam, and you want them to rewrite. So you going in front of the TV and just crying, that's just bull crap. We don't need all that. That's the sentimental bullshit we've been fed all along. And they will tell you, it's a mistake. God has written it that they will fail it. It's a lie. Someone made an error. Let them pay for it, God damn it. Let them pay for that mistake. Let them know how expensive it is so it will never happen again. When you do the crime, you gotta do the time. We don't have this habit of making people pay for what they've done in Nigeria. And that's the reason why people keep getting away with things. They will beg everybody now in the name of God everywhere, my set. Everywhere. Pastors will start putting mouth now. It is the will of God. Everywhere will be quiet. No, it is not. Brilliant students were targeted. I mean, it's just too much of a coincidence. And the fact that they will rewrite the whole jam is passing a message that that's the way they can convince the people that this is not a regional it's not a regional target, it's not a regional crime, it's not an injustice, it was genuinely a mistake. But the fact that you're now saying only the people that error happened to are going to rewrite it, you've already targeted a certain amount of people. Are you saying the people that you didn't, the error didn't affect, they are smarter than the people the error affected? What is the error about? Do we understand the context of that error? How deep that error is? What is that error about? We don't understand. There need to be forensic investigation into this human error. Human error means someone deliberately switched marks for certain region to another region. Computer error is different, but they say this one are human error. You logged into the system and you did what you're meant to not do. That is human error. You deliberately go there and you did something. Who is that person that did that thing? Accountability. And it is a way of taking legal and ethical responsibility that, you know what, we fucked up. And whatever the people want. And this is what the southeastern part of that country should be demanding. Number one, if they are going to be writing anything, it will be the whole student that wrote JAMB. It will be the whole demand for that. People, one set of people cannot say they pass jam, and another set say error, glitch happen. How are we certain that the figure they gave us about that glitch is the actual figure? How are we sure that that is the figure maybe they are reducing it for us not to get mad? Do you know how wild, how crazy the glitch is? Integrity. It has been stained, and the only way they can clean that up, in as much as we don't even expect anything good from Nigeria, but with this, number one, someone's life has gone because of this. They should rewrite that jam. And I'm saying it on the public. They should rewrite. That should be the demand. Nothing concern us with concern say university go rip. That is their own bloody business. When there is a problem, we sort out that current problem before we focus on another one. There is a reason why some countries do their elections. They change date of their elections. Something happened for that thing to change. Let it be that this expensive mistake is the reason why maybe they changed the resumption date on the yearly resumption for students in the university. Let it, so be it. It's as simple as that. And we need a digital infrastructural accountability. How did this? What is the cutoff? How are you marking it? Is it the computer marking it? How did this glitch happen? They need to do all those things before they can move forward. In conclusion, the rewrite of the 2025 JAM for the affected candidate is not a remedy to this action. I think everyone should rewrite it to show fairness, restore hope and confidence in the system, to empower the youth, to let them know, you know what, we messed up, but there is no way we can actually measure how bad that mess up is. So therefore, everyone should do it. And for the students that they claim this glitch didn't affect, for fairness purpose, they should support their peers and be like, you know what? Justice for one is justice to all. We will rewrite this thing. But I don't think that's going to happen because many students don't do Orijo. They paid for Orijo. But again, why was just a specific region targeted for that human error. And I will yield on that. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, Jimmy. So personally, I would have preferred the situation where, you know, since there was a system error or something, so I mean they can fix it and maybe use that to generate their result, or recompute their result and everything and show them their real results. That's what I would have preferred, because that for me makes more sense than actually subjecting these whole children, all over to say, oh, you're going to rewrite the exams. Because I know what you have to pass through for you to actually write these exams at the first instance. So I'm looking at it from that perspective. I'm not even sure it is fair to even those that their results have already been shown to them, and the alleged error did not affect. I don't think it will be fair to them, if we say, oh, everybody come and write the exam. But anyways, it's good that we're having this conversation and bringing out some of these perspectives, so we can, take it off from here. So, Franklin, you go now. After you, we have wow, yeah. Let's make it quick as possible, please. Franklin, you have the mic. Franklin, are you there? Yeah.
Good evening. I wouldn't take much time. For me, this act by JAMB is actually deliberate. Last year, they came for Mesoma, and when they saw that what they planned was successful, they were now emboldened to do what they did just some few days ago. And if people like Alex did not come out to challenge what they did, nothing will have come out. So, for me, how come Southeast is under Lagos in writing exam? We have 6 regions in Nigeria. Southeast is supposed to be on its own. So there is no way it should be under Lagos in writing exam. But that is what we've seen. If they are writing exam, the whole student should write the exam. If they don't want to write the exam, let them remark this particular student's scripts and give them their score. That is just the proper thing to be done. And for that man to come and be crying on station, that was a fake cry. So that's just where I stand. If they are writing the exam, everybody should write the exam again. If they are not rewriting the exam, they should remark these student scripts and give them their.
Accept the explanation I've given as the truth on this matter. I apologize and take full responsibility, not just in words. I want to say a big thank you to all of you, and may God bless us all.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
What would happen in August or not? I mean, we know how anyhow this country is. So making the fact that students are meant to get into uni by September the reason for them to write this exam on Friday, it's actually very unfair on them. This would be our time to tell them that they are not alone. Because let's face facts, we are talking about the macro effects, which is the 200 and something thousand that failed. We are ignoring the micro effects, the people that had to squeeze out money, the moms that had to untie the head of their wrapper, the dads that had to hustle extra hard and whatnot. And everything we say there is almost like we're even ignoring the current economic situation of the country and how it's affecting, parents and their kids in school. So anything that would result in the exam not holding on Friday, I'm all for it. Then also there is this thing I would like to appeal to us, right? There's this thing that happened where something happens, we outraged, the energy is like running on a high, and then after a couple of days, weeks, it's like, okay, back to square one, back to default settings, still something else happens again. It would be nice, it's something I would appreciate if there's sort of like a space, whatever name it is, even it doesn't have to be every week because people are busy, right? Even if it's every 2 or 3 weeks, but we come there and deliberate and talk about actual issues and follow it up with actions. So, for instance, now something like this jam thing, there will still be more instances where things will happen in the future that would require our attention, and we don't need for it to happen first before we react. We need to be proactive this time, because the way I'm seeing it, the country is actually getting worse. We are not stagnant. We are backtracking. Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you, my brother. So we are going to have Dr. Naza. You want to quickly make a comment before, because I know you have
Yes,
spoken
very,
before.
yes, very, very
All right.
quickly. Yeah. I was paying attention when Mazi was making a commentary. And just like Icon said, I completely understand the point where he's coming from. But we have to realize that timelines are not, they're not etched in marble. These timelines are timelines that have formed, yes, truly over time, because these things have followed a particular way that they've happened. But this is a situation where something extraordinary has taken place. It should affect the timeline. After all, there are states that do not conduct governorship elections the same day that others do their own. Why? Because something also affected their own timeline. Something also affected their own timeline. Anambra State is on a different governorship election schedule than a good chunk of the other states. So why are we acting as if a different timeline is a bad thing? If they feel like, okay, they don't want to do these exams in between when they are doing WAEC, they want to do it at the end, and it will mean doing it in August, then they move resumption from September to October. After all, why are we acting brand new and acting like we don't know that there are people who have Dean's list number one, Dean's list number two, Dean's list number three, and those people keep entering the school till almost the end of the year. So this is not new. This is completely not new. This is something that something can be done about completely. If they feel like the September is too close, they move from September to October. If October is too close, you move it to January. They should move it to January. Why are we acting as if these things are etched in sand? They should move it to January. After all, we keep churning out graduates every year, admitting new people. There are no jobs for them to do. There is nothing for them to do. Why are we acting like this is a problem? We have to tackle it now. I'm so upset in my spirit. We have to tackle it now. There's a problem. They should solve the problem. Why do they want them to write this exam on Friday when we are doing as if the what is going on is okay? It's not okay. It's not okay. Go. Okay, they can choose to write the exams at the end of June. Why we act as if we did not write WAEC? Me, I wrote WAEC. There are weekends that are free. They should write it on those weekends. Why are you making kids travel from Kafanchan to Kano to write exam of how many questions? Why are you making them travel? Write it in your locality. I wrote my exam in DMGS. Write it in your locality. And then mention your no that's it. Write it in your locality. What is all this rubbish, safe? I'm done.
Anyway, thank you, Dr. Naza. Okay, so we are going to have Wani Manarisiaya. I think after you we can have Kola, and then we go to extraordinary Oma. Wani Manasir, you have the mic, please. Go ahead.
Um, Jack, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Um,
Good evening.
thank you for this opportunity. I don't really want to sound how I feel about this particular issue. For crying out loud, I've never, the last time I felt this terrible was after the 2023 presidential election about, situations in this country. I am so upset. I'm angry. I'm sad that, you know, in 2025, we're having this kind of conversation in my dear country. There's nothing you people want to tell me that'll make me believe that this is not a targeted act. I mean, how do you explain it? For starters, Southeast is grouped under Lagos. How? And meanwhile, we're supposed to have geopolitical zones in whatever we do in this country. I've never heard Lagos and Southeast. I hear Lagos and West, Lagos and Southwest. But JAMB decided is Lagos and Southeast. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the Lagos there is the collateral damage. So that people will not say, it's only Southeast. Oh. If they decide to be honest with themselves and give us a comprehensive breakdown of the centers that are affected, you'll still see that the areas in Lagos affected are the areas where you have the Southeasterners dominating. That's number one. Number two, I don't like hearing it's a glitch. This is a fundamental human error where a human being has decided to deal with some certain demography. I mean, whether they want to admit it or not, I'm sure with time, the truth and the real reason behind this inhuman act will come out. When everybody is saying English, I mean, we are not, those of us who are fortunate to use computers know what a glitch is. If a glitch happens, it cannot, unless there's a command given to it for that glitch to happen, it cannot affect a particular region in this manner. Thirdly, they are telling us is about 397. I don't even want to believe that because when it comes to numbers and figures in Nigeria, people always falsify reports and numbers. It could even be more than what we already have, but they don't want it to seem like, this is what it is. I mean, for crying out loud, these children left their homes earlier than usual, that they even, some of them go to school to locate their centers to go and write this exam. And then what do they have? This kind of manipulated reports, results, and we are expected to take it hook, line, and sinker and negotiate with them. What exactly are we even negotiating with JAM? That's why I'm angry. I'm very upset. I mean, kudos to Alex and, the team, people who, have been at the forefront of this, trying to, ensure that the right thing is done. But what exactly are we even negotiating with JAM? Must we negotiate when people show their bad attitude and their incompetence? What exactly are we negotiating? To be honest with you, why are these children being asked to go and rewrite this exam from Friday? What exactly do they want to achieve? Because as far as I'm concerned, telling them to go and rewrite this exam from Friday is to prove to us that, I thought you people said that they did not fail. See, they failed. Because these children psychologically, emotionally, mentally have been destabilized within the last 1 week or within the last few days. I mean, for crying out loud, someone has taken her life for this thing. And we are meant to act like it's BAU, clap because someone is crying and some people that I don't even understand are behind him clapping. What exactly are we negotiating for? And this is a CBT test. Let them go and pull up these records and remark these children's exams and give them their results. If not, I will second the opinion of the person that said, let the whole exam be cancelled and let them rewrite it. If it means the academic calendar in Nigeria changing, let it change. But let people do the right thing and be held accountable and responsible for their actions. These are poor children, teenagers, and they've not even started and they're going through this kind of turmoil. And we're trying to negotiate with JAM. I mean, come on, guys. I'm just very upset, and I'm trying not to sound how shaken and upset I am. But I mean, please, if people who are close to Alex and Chidoka and people who have been trying in quotes to negotiate with JAM, please tell them that rewriting or resitting for this exam is totally unacceptable by the students, by the parents. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on this. I mean, I'm one of those that believe genuinely deep down in my heart that there's really nothing to negotiate with Jump at this point, right? There has to be some level of
Absolutely
restitution,
nothing.
right?
There's
There,
nothing to negotiate about. Let them
there,
be held responsible and accountable for their actions and pay the
exactly.
price for it. Someone has to pay the price for their ineptness.
I agree,
and not
100%.
put the poor children into, I don't even know how to explain it. You are now forcing them and be bending them into doing your own will for your own incompetence. I mean, make it
As
make sense to me now.
as the space is going on, I have a lot of jam bites on my DM telling me no to rewriting of results.
Exactly.
You
Not
know,
to
they are
rewriting these exams. I
all
had people who traveled from far and were asking me,
exactly,
Auntie, please, where is this place? How do I locate it? And,
exactly.
and my exam is by 6 a.m. And you want to put these children through the same process again. I
I
beg
agree.
now. More will get
Mm,
conscience.
mm.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ine, for contributing to the discussion. Let's have a caller. Caller, please take the mic. Make it real
My
quick.
brother, I
Thank
will,
you.
I will, I will. God bless you real good. I greet everyone. Sincerely speaking, well, again, I also support total cancellation of that exam. They should cancel it outrightly for everyone. Because number one, if not for the people that came to speak with confidence about how they train their kid, about how they are so sure that their children or their ward cannot get that low mark. So we wouldn't have even knew something happened. And for the fact that Jam now said there's a glitch, you said there's a glitch. You've not told people what you've done to correct the glitch. You've not told people what exactly the glitch is. You also just hide under the umbrella of the glitch and you want people to go again just on Friday to go and write words. Who does that? Who does that? And looking at the number, something that affects over 300, by their own estimation, over 300,000 people. 300,000, something they paid for. They paid you for. Like you're not doing it for free. The country is not doing it for them for free. They paid you for it. You are now dictating at your own pace for them to go and write war. People who are traumatized. I think those who are doing it, I just heard now that some people are doing negotiation. It will be unfair, it will be unjust, and it will be head of that you are negotiating what for them to rewrite an exam for people who are already traumatized, people who are already still going through things, who do not even know their financial status, you don't even know what, come on, and you are telling them to go and write from Friday. That must be madness. If anything needs to be cancelled, it is this that the entire exam needs to be cancelled and JAMB to go and put their house in order and give all the kids or all the children what it takes, like the date for them to sit down and rewrite their exam. If it's going to affect school calendar, so be it. That is JAMB's cup of tea. And who has paid? No heads have rolled, no nothing. And look at the country. Nobody is in. This is pure madness. In a sane country, this will not happen. This will not happen. People, the man crying on TV, just telling to go and resign. That's the starting point. I yield right here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my brother. So guys, I want to bring you up to speed. Like, I want to share something with you. Just listen to this. I'm reading from Onya's report. He said the system patch necessary to support both scuffling and source-based validation had been fully deployed on the server clusters supporting the Kaduna zone, but it was not applied to Lagos cluster, which services centers in Lagos and Southeast. This omission persisted across all sessions until the 17th session, after which the error was discovered and corrected. As a result, approximately 92 centers in Southeast and 65 centers in Lagos, totaling 152 centers, operated using outdated server logic and could not appropriately handle the new answer submission and marking structures. Now, the question I want to ask is, so if you look at this statement, it said that this omission persisted across all sessions until the 17th session, after which the error was discovered and corrected. So what this means is that JAMB knew that there was an error and that they corrected an error after 17th session. But the same JAMB told us that the reason why there was massive failure is because that they upgraded their system. Do you see that there's something is wrong and somebody needs to pay? Look, according to the report, the technical report that Onya, an independent investigator, did release, he said that this thing persisted until the 17th session before JAMB corrected it. So they knew that something was wrong, but they didn't do anything about it, and they claim that their system, it was because of the upgrade, and that they are, trying to, take out miracle centers, quote and unquote, according to them, and this error persisted, and they even mentioned that they are taking out, centers, miracle centers from Lagos and Anambra State, yeah. But they did not tell Nigerians that there was an error in the patch that they were supposed to run until the 17th session before they corrected it. This is criminal act. Somebody needs to pay for this. This is the point I'm trying to make. You people don't understand the gravity of this particular, whether it's in negligence or it was deliberate, I don't even care to know at this point. What I know is that somebody needs to actually pay. Anyway, let's get Oma in. Oma, please, let's have your opinion. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good evening, Jack. Thank you so much. Good evening, Icon as well. Um, this is a coordinated attack. I'm speaking from experience. If you went to a federal school, you would know. Because I went to a federal school and having to prepare for the exams, the cutoff marks are different. And as an Imo State girl, we always had one of the highest. If you check 2022, in fact, Imo State was the highest. And I kept asking the question, what are the yardsticks that were used to measure? Why are they giving us from Imo State the highest scores for cutoff marks to a federal school when other people are getting 22, 6, this, and all of that, and we're having 100 and something? So these are the things I experienced as a child, and I'm so heartbroken that children are going to are experiencing it already the same way. I know how I felt going to a federal school and seeing people from certain parts of the country who came in, and I had to ask them what were their marks in the exams, and they told me. I know how I felt as a child. I can still remember, and I have children who are feeling the same way. Or should I talk about my experience of writing JAMB? I wrote JAMB 5 times. 3 times there were no scores. I didn't receive any score. The other one, the fourth one was low, and I was wondering how. My mother is a teacher. My mother retired as a principal. So for me, you have to be intelligent in my house. You don't have a choice. And I was a child who did not come more than third position in class from JS1 to SS3, right? And then you're seeing the kind of scores that they are giving you in JAM. But you know what? We let all these things slide. Okay, so they kept improving on it, and they kept improving on it. We were not asking questions. We were not raising our voices. We were not doing nothing. We didn't ask, why do some states have more than some states? What is the reason? Why should you do this? Just convince me. We didn't do all that, and all that has gotten us to where it is right now. And this is a coordinator. It's not any glitch, anything. It has nothing to do with the server or whatever that they are telling me right now. Let's call it what it is. This is not a glitch. This is a coordinated attack against some certain parts of the country, the southeastern part of the country, because they've been doing this for a long time, and we've been excelling in spite of whatever they are throwing at us. And it's like, let's break them completely. Let's just break these people completely. And they are coming to give me the stories. Let me tell you, people, you want us to carry sick children to go and write exams? Because right now all those children, they are sick. Should I define what health is? Health is a complete state of your physical, mental, and social well-being. So for all of you that feel, oh, I'm physically okay, but I'm mentally down, I'm not sick, you are sick. So what are you guys telling me? You're telling me to take sick children to write an exam. Those children, they are mentally down, so they are sick right now. And you want me to take sick children to go and write an exam. What are we okay? Which of you will take your sick child to an exam hall? Which I will not. I won't take any of my sons to do that. So I won't support you to take any of those children right now in their mental state to go and begin to write an exam. And of course, they are not in the right frame of mind. They may not do well, and then it will be double tragedy. They will come out again, and then JAMB will now come and tell you guys, you see, it wasn't even the error that was the problem. They must have probably gone to pay for special centers, and now because we now put more eye on them, they could not scale through. Now the real result, you guys don't know the people you're dealing with in Nigeria, the people in charge of the institution. These are con men. The people that you're in charge of. So there is nothing like writing the exams. We will not take sick children to go and write an exam. We will let them get well first, heal, then we will decide how and when they're going to write it. Laws are made for people, not the other way round. There was COVID and it changed everything in the world. It changed the educational system of the world. Everybody changed. There were new rules, there were new laws. It took a different turn and nothing happened. Okay? Nothing happened. Everything went on well. Education it was online. Everybody changed their system. So why can't we do the same? Why is it that because there's been a system in place that they write WAEC in June and they write this thing in June and it can't be changed? It can be changed if things happen. Something has happened which has taken a life. So is an emergency situation, is very bad, is something that we need, so it can change all their rules. I don't care, because this rush of the children must write WAEC in June. That does not mean that when they come out from university, there is a job that's even working. I beg, I'm angry. What, these children are not writing nothing. Nobody should encourage me or encourage any of us to take sick children to go and write an exam. I don't know I should be more angry with. Is it that man that is crying there, or the men and women that are there clapping for incompetence? God, I don't know how we got to this. I yield. Thank you, Jack. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Oma, for that for your contribution this night. Okay, ordinary girl, I think you should go now, and then after you, we go to you shall know the truth, and then Odun Tutu. Yeah, we'll go. Ordinary girl, take it.
Jack, are you purposely skipping me?
Reverend,
Because
I'm not. Calm down. You will come up. I know when you came.
I was here before so ordinary girl came before me, but after her, I should be the one to speak.
Oh, really? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't sure about that.
I'm here at 6. I'm here at 6.
You shall know the truth. Calm down. Don't worry. You will speak. We'll have time for everybody. Ordinary girl, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Jack. Okay, so the reason I do not agree that the exams should be rewritten is because I wonder how these students can mobilize scarce resources within this short notice. Set of people be subjected to go through a receipt, like a set of people. It's JAMB error. JAMB should go through a remark. JAMB just has to take responsibility. You choose the action, you choose the consequences. You don't get to choose which you choose or do not choose. That's what I think. More concerning for me is the very thought that what if these students receipts, but JAMB still pulls an INEC glitch on them, this time without remorse and without admitting any error, then Southeast students may be given the same similar bad results, and JAMB would now strongly put it to us that our children actually failed. JAMB succeeded in closing the loopholes that Igbos used to claim high scores every exam year. And so ends the story. Especially if this JAMB professor is not acting alone, but acting on instructions. Consequently, that would be a very dangerous precedent, allowing them to give us like terrible and crippling results every year. And you would agree with me that when the education of the next generation is successfully punctured, the future of the next generation would be bleak. I personally suggest that the results be reviewed and the right scores issued. I believe strongly that just like INEC, JAM has access to the real figures. If they are ready to bring it out, they have access to the real figures. They are probably just checking the resilience in our resistance. That's what I think. I also suggest that JAM submits their system for scrutiny for thorough, professional, third party investigation without interference. We don't need them in that investigation. JAM should be investigated to the roots to be sure that Ozoemena, that this thing never ever repeats itself again, because these people have a way of coming back to try to do the same thing all over again. But if must be alternatively, that yes, they must take this exam, then let it be every single jambite across Nigeria that retakes the exam. Because what will be the new metric? Are they using it the same are they going to use the same answers, the same questions and stuff like that? Or are you going to say these people already saw the questions in the past exam where they failed, that's why they came back to score better, or what? So to give let it be that everybody has seen the question and everybody came back to write. Please let everybody go on an equal footing. So yes, let everybody retake the exam if need be. And then how do we trust that?
As registrar of JAMB, I hold myself personally responsible, including for the negligence of the service provider. And I unreservedly apologize for it. And the trauma it has affected Nigerians to, directly or indirectly. We have decided that all the candidates affected in the 157 centers of the 882 be contacted to retake their examinations. These candidates are to be contacted through text messages addressed to their registered phone number from tomorrow. Their email addresses, their profiles, and phone calls by JAMB. They are directed to reprint their examination slips for the rescheduled examination dates.
Whatever. Is it not better? Does it not make more sense, right? That way, because this jump, I think, I don't know, but I know too many people that jump have actually like ruined their lives and everything, yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense. Imagine Omar writing jump for 5 times. I mean, you can imagine like what you need to write jump for 5 times just to get into the university. I don't think that makes sense, honestly. And then, I mean, she's a practicing nurse, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. So, which means that naturally this person is intelligent. So it's not as if maybe, oh, this person. But anyways, that's by the way. Thank you for your contribution. Anyway, ordinary
Yeah,
girl.
I
Let
just think that JAMB is reinventing the wheel, but I was not talking about JAMB generally continuing the exam over the years. I'm talking about particularly within the coterie of this situation, that if the students have to resit it, everybody should resit
Mhm.
it. So I'm not saying JAMB is not even outside Nigeria, you don't need it. If you have to do your masters, they want your WIEC, they do not want your JAMB. They don't need it. They don't recognize it.
Yeah.
So JAM is just reinventing the wheel because the schools still get to assess you again, and that's just what it is. I hope you get my point, Jack.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Icon, you want to make a point?
Yeah, Jack, I was gonna say I personally don't think that jam should be removed. Because when you think about other countries, you have the SATs, you have A levels, but it's just I think it just needs a complete overhaul. So I think first of all, it should be valid for more than a year, at least 2 years. I think then universities should have their cutoff marks, right? In terms of like, okay, this is what we take. You have to have this minimum to be able to come to our university, and then they need to remove that there stupid what is it they call it for like where depending on where you come from that determines what score you come in with,
The,
right? So there has to be complete equality
mm,
across board. So I think what it should be is that because I don't think it's right. So because really you shouldn't be applying to one school, right? Like in most places you apply to multiple schools, right? So why should you now take exams for each school that you want to apply to? That's just, again, that's just us just doing too much when we don't need to do too much.
but
Also, I've never understood why.
Icon, do you understand that?
Yeah.
Do you understand that after writing jams, they still go to these universities and they still
So
write
that's what I'm
exams?
saying. We
Are
shouldn't
you
have
aware of
that.
that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That should be scrapped. I think there should be one overall exam, even if it's
Oh,
not
okay.
JAM. I think there should be one overall exam, and then universities can decide what their cutoffs are, right? But it doesn't
Yeah.
state you're from. It should be these are our cutoffs. If you have this minimum, then you can apply to us, right? So there
I
should be
get
one
that.
because it's stupid. How many exams? Like I just feel like the Nigerians, we just literally make life hard for people for no reason. So why would I
Exactly.
take JAMB and then go and take another exam? There's no
I,
need. And then I think the final thing is I don't know where the curriculum from JAMB comes from. I don't know what it is because you keep hearing kids have to study for JAMB and then I can't remember. I took JAMB, but I was like, I don't want to open up that kind of worms about what I know I did versus what actually showed up in my results. Because it was a complete mess. That's when I knew that this jam anyway, whether they back it or not, needs to be that question. So anyway, so that's my thing is it needs a complete overhaul. And like I said, is somebody who was very capable, was nominated, was literally waiting for his appointment letter, and then the bigots came in and kept it with somebody who has no idea what he's doing, right? Somebody who had international experience, had a lot, like in academia, understands it, has worked in multiple places around the world, and these demons actually came in and left this thing with like an illiterate. But that's Nigeria for you.
well, you don't want to you don't want to know how many incompetent people we have littered everywhere across our ministries, agencies. If you have ever interfaced with government agencies, like at a deeper level, like visit a lot of ministries in Abuja, you will understand what we're talking about. Like we are in a mess as a country. I one of the things I think any serious president will do is actually to reform our public servants. Yeah, most of the ministries we have a lot of incompetent people. Like when I say incompetent, I mean it in the the most serious way you can ever imagine, right? Like people that are really genuinely incompetent that you can't deal with. I don't know, like I've dealt with a lot of them, so I have PTSD anytime I
Yeah,
just
I was
remember.
gonna say literally here, like the Nigerian embassy, you're outside,
Mm.
you're in America. As soon as you come near their compound, once you just reach that line that you're inside Nigeria, you just
You
forget where
feel
you are. Like the to
it.
pass. Then they make sure that nothing works in the embassy. One of them has clearly opened up a business center. So you have to do
Exactly.
everything. Like our people are cursed.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's how it works here. Anyway, that's fine. Thank you so much for chiming in. Reverend, please, you can go now. Please make it short, my brother.
All right.
Thank you.
Mm. First of all, I've already made a post that JAMB should be scrapped. It has so long, even I think when I wrote JAMB, that was when it lived out its importance. JAMB, I'm part of like extraordinary. I was a very intelligent student. My mom was a principal before she died. I wrote JAMB 4 times before I finally couldn't get into a university. I had to go to a polytechnic because I was frustrated. I have a cousin that is doing business today. He didn't go to university because he couldn't get jammed, not because he's not intelligent, but because of the same frustration. That body should be scrapped. The people that are talking about SAT is an optional exam for the USA now.
Who are you
SAT,
calling the people? Machakwanya, the pastor.
no, many people say it. SAT is optional. States have autonomy. Why are we still doing something that we are seeing that it's destroying the lives of our people? This thing is a tool. Like Jack, recently you wanted to do campaign against bigotry. This is bigotry playing in our faces. This thing is just because Igbos always come top in JAMB. They brought out something to use and tell people that the reason why the Igbos has been coming first in JAMB is because we are doing expo. So JAMB upgraded and we started failing. That is exactly what they did. If not that people started pushing back. Then my favorite, they now, after they did everything, they now pushed the responsibility to their father God to use it and gaslight people. That body should be put inside the dustbin. And universities, if universities have autonomy on student or on the criteria they use to take in admit their students, there will be no room for this subtle bias targeting. UNN cannot come and start discriminating against Igbo people. University of Ibadan cannot come and start discriminating against Yoruba people. They won't be doing this. They are selective, failing and selective person. If JAMB must be there, let it be optional. Let school decide, okay, we are going to use JAMB or we won't use JAMB. But as it stands today, no school will say we can't use JAMB. So if your child that is intelligent fails JAMB, that is the end for the person. My half brother got 315 last year. He didn't get admission. This year, the boy is very, very depressed. He's scared to go and check his result because of what is happening. And this is the person that these people expect to go and rewrite. Nigerians should wake up. We should stop. First of all, we should stop waiting for an election because this man is not going out the elections. There are signs. They've given us enough signs for us to enter the streets and boot them out of that office, but we are too docile to see it. This jump now has happened. Another one will happen tomorrow. Let's bet it. If we do anything with this one, they will bring another one tomorrow. Before you know what is happening, before 2027, Tinubu will come and say there's no election, that the term is now 8 years. And you people will still hold space and will rant. After ranting, will continue doing what they want us to do. I'm also a bit talk too much. Normally, what I do in space is to tackle people. I don't know how to make long submissions, but I've just said what I want to say. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, my brother, for your submission. I mean, you're on point there. Most of the things you said are actually quite accurate. So we need to move a bit faster now, because I mean, this space has been going on for I think over 5 hours now, if I'm not mistaken. Right. So we need to start winding down because it's getting late as well. So you shall know the truth. Please go ahead.
As registrar of JAMB, I hold myself personally responsible including for the negligence of the service provider and And I unreservedly apologize for it. And the trauma it has affected Nigerians to, directly or indirectly. We have decided that all the candidates affected in the 157 centers of the 882 be contacted to retake their examinations. These candidates are to be contacted through text messages addressed to their registered phone number from tomorrow. Their email addresses, their profiles, and phone calls by JAMB. They are directed to reprint their examination slips for the rescheduled examination dates.
Got to television, they got to the now it have been their turn. They started playing as if it's not their fault. So one, I didn't want to say much because people have said a lot I want to say. Only that I'm angry, I want to say a word. One, let them scrap this JAMB. That JAMB is useless. It's 100% useless. Because if you pay 1,000 to go and write JAMB, just thinking of a 12 months, it has expired. Whereas the WAEC you have taken all the while, the WAEC will be on your hand until you get admission, until you die. WAEC is still useful. And after you get that 300 and something thousand in the WAEC, in the JAMB result, went to that university, they will give you 20%, 30%, 80, 20, 50%. Say you didn't qualify, you didn't pass UTME. Then that JAMB of your 200 and something thousand, 200 and something marks, or 300 and something marks become useless. Next year start again. So it's better let them scrap that. Even I know who I will meet, please let them propose scrap JAMB out. If you write the WAEC, if you apply this year, you didn't pass that to UTME of the university of your choice. Next year, use your WAEC. You apply again. Why WAEC is taking you for the grave, but JAMB cannot take you for 2 or 3 years, and you spend a lot of money. They are coming now that they want to rewrite the exam. When did they set that exam? Did they say this when they are complaining that people went to buy, their parents went to and hire special center? Was it the time they are planning to reset the question paper? Or now today they reset the question paper? Which the emotion balance that these kids will have in mind and go and write that exam after they have already lost interest and they are depressed. He didn't give them 1 month to prepare. He didn't give them 2 months to reverse. Even weeks. He said tomorrow, that is late tomorrow, they should come up on what ground with the same question and another question. So Jack, whatever they are saying that exam should be suspended or that no, they remark it. Let them, my own self, they should remark that is in their system. Why are they not remarking it? Because the concern is they should go back. When they go back, they'll give them a question that is beyond what a kid can read and understand. We carry the final year students of university and give them to come and solve. After they pass, then should I told you guys that these people they are just crying foul. That's what they are trying to do. They'll give you a question that can't even solve. Afterwards, what they'll say, should I told you guys that people that are just crying foul because it's concerned Southeast. That's why they're complaining. Somebody say they are marginalized. Nigeria is a crime scene. Don't believe them or trust them for anything. Lastly, this is to show what they will show instance in 2027. When this 2023 election is coming, they transfer that IT director to Enugu State and put another person to help them to perpetrate their evil. Now they say glitch for 2023. Up to now, there's no report, no explanation of that glitch. Now they say they're human error. Based on what you read concerning Dr. Alex on that report, they have already been aware. Why did they allow it to stay through? Now they push it to Southeast and add Lagos. As I Lagos, tomorrow it's not only East now, Lagos is concerned. So all they are planning is to make East go down. The God Almighty that make it to stand can never go down. If they don't want to give us a better appointment on their government, on their civil service, they can't allow us to be. If you make it well, let us travel out of the country or go somewhere else and make our life. Because we're not benefiting from Nigeria, we're always on our own. So why are they trying to press us down, even on our own? So whatever that they will do to show that that exam will not hold, let us start by it. Because they will give you an exam that the question paper that you can never solve. Even in 30 seconds, 1 hour, a minute, 2 minutes, you have been cracking bread. Because the real one have already been seen and been taken. So anyone they bring in now is one from the university that even final years university cannot solve. They say let this come and solve it. If they fail now, they say, Shebi, I told you guys, it's a mistake. They say it's our mistake. Now we claim it's our error. Now why did we pass it? Please, my brother, thank you very much. I'm highly annoyed. So I can't even sleep this night. Like God will punish this federal
Th-
commit and punish JAMB and punish that
Thank you.
will carry crocodile cry. Punish all of them.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, you want your biko one now. Thank you. Anyway, Akokaria, let's have your opinion at the moment. Thank you.
I thought I'm the one that is next.
Okay, yeah. Sorry. Odun Tutu, yeah, please go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, good evening, Jack. For me, I have what I call comments, questions, and my own some part of solution. Number one, my own comment. If anybody here or anybody in this country is believing what this, I'm struggling not to say some things that these people are telling us, then you think you are watching a film. Number one, what is the guarantee that the number of people they affected that told us is the number? Which one is correct? What if there are more? Two, if there was a glitch in quote to make people get less than what they should have gotten, how are you sure the glitch did not make some people get more than they should have gotten? Someone is already dead as we speak. Question, are we sure this is the only person that has died from this exam? Some people were kidnapped, in case we have forgotten. There are some people who probably died because of this, and they are not in the news because they are not in the urban centers. So for every person you know that died from this exam, somebody is probably had an accident, had an injury, whatever happens. For me, number one thing, I don't care what the rubbish they are saying. That professor of Islamic study that is heading that place, the head of their IT, and the head of their social handle, whoever is handling that JAMB, Twitter, whatever they call it, those guys their work should be ending tomorrow. Because there is a dead person already. And some people are talking about writing exam or on thoughts or whatever. Okay, what happened to the family of that lady that killed herself? So who is going to pay for that? Are we just going to move on as we are used to moving on? A whole generation of people's life have been. Look, writing an exam is not just about writing an exam. For some people, it takes them 6 months of savings to make that happen. Logistic reason, mental reason, financial reason, whatever you want to put up, that's not going to disappear in 4 days. For me, the people who are going to court should go to court fully. The people who want to take classes should do it with 100%. For me, you cannot convince me it is not deliberate. So that's one. Two, those people, the people leading those places, I feel they should be going home by tomorrow. And we should demand for it. At least. That's the least thing that can happen. And after the demand, there should be thorough investigation. This is 2025. JAMB, why call those people? Those are major statistics / academic. Why should the professor of Islamic studies be handed to go and tell them what? So for me, my solution would be that number one, the only fair thing to do is to rewrite everything. Because whatever the JAMB is telling us, me, I don't believe it at all. Is a lie. These people from what you read, they knew that there was a mistake. And these people there was even one mumu that said, yes, people failed because the protocol we put in to avoid cheating and Kinikoin was working. How is in a normal society, that person, I can't recollect it, it should be resigning by now. You had an exam and over 75% failed, and you are saying, oh, because the system you put to avoid cheating worked. That's how sick the people that rule this country are. You cry or you don't cry and all that. I don't, those one doesn't make anything. Will the cry bring the lady back? So for me, for going forward, if JAMB is going to exist, if it's going to exist, the exam is supposed to be based on 400. There should be a written resolution that says, look, 200, anybody who did not get to 200 should forget about academics. The school can set up their own. Then this rubbish, wicked idea that some people will get 87 over 400, and some people will get 350, and you'll be telling them they cannot do because they come from different state. That should be scrapped. Left to me that when you are writing that, there should be no state name. It's exam you are writing, not you are not going for a political office. Why should they care about your state? If then going forward, all these statistically based parastatals should be headed by young people who are familiar with 21st century ways to handle it. So please, I'm particularly pained because look, this thing does not need to happen. There are places, don't they conduct examination in India or China where people have several populations ahead of us? People are in billions. They vote, they have driver license, they do people huge data, more than we can handle. At the end of the day, the reality is this, that these people don't have enough. In fact, somebody was telling me this night that look, somebody went to these JAMB centers. Guess what? The guy pressed on start and the thing went off and click submitted. She reported, she told the individual, I said, well, the individual said they can't do. There are so many things that went wrong, apart from the rubbish figure they are giving. So for me, if they JAMB, for them to admit it, I can bet you that what happened is what they're telling us. Scrap that. The least thing you can do is to scrap everything. In addition, this JAMB have been saying they're making what do you call it? They've been making profit. I mean, that's what they have been saying. Of course, they can't be saying people should write exam by Friday. That is mad. That's madness 2.2. These things should be scrapped. If the whole country education system has to wait, let them. After all, somebody said during COVID-19, everybody on the planet had waited. So if it means everybody in Nigeria will wait, let everybody wait. Everybody should wait. And when they give enough people enough time, the JAMB should pay for the people's transport. People move. There's transportation cost, there's food costs, there are so many costs that's it. When they are writing the exam, JAMB should be made to repay people for the extra cost and extra energy, everything that people waited for. Maybe they are declaring profit. They should use the profit to compensate people. And for to summarize, people should go out, and it's fine, protest is okay, but I feel that look, people should make documentary responses, proving responses. Everybody that matters in every part of the country, southeast, everywhere. If you know, especially if it's me, call it political, whatever you want to. There are governors in those places. There are commissioners. There are House of Rep members. Release statement, make official statement, record it. In fact, life to me, people should go to court and sue everybody, because these people is crazy. Look, I'm a father. What amount of money are you going to pay the parents of the lady that died? A lady narrowly escaped being kidnapped. Not even escaped, was kidnapped. Somebody was wrecked. She was wrecked. We all heard the story. And I said, repeated again, how I wish you all don't have more people that died from accident that probably we never had, because maybe they are in one remote north or south or west or east or something. We only got to know this because it got to the to the media. I bet you some things happened that we are yet to hear. So people are responsible for this should be going home by tomorrow. There is no, either you crying, you wail, that doesn't make any jack. A life has been lost. Somebody should be paying for it.
I agree with you.
Then Yeah, life has been, somebody should be paying for it because there's nothing you do, you repeat exam, you postpone it, you give money. A life is lost. You can never bring that back. What if it turn out at the end of the day, discover that, okay, so my solution would be number one, the best thing would be if it's a glitch, they should arrange their system and give people their correct. That would be the best option. Do your glitch and give people their correct scores. They don't need to write an exam. Except they are covering something they don't want people want people to know. And that's why I say that, look, is it deliberate? Who says it's impossible? It could be. So independent people who are experts in this field should be allowed to check what they have. If it's now becoming impossible that you cannot recover people's through correct information or marks, then everybody should do the right thing. There should be all this rubbish people are talking about, and this rubbish idea that you're going to write on Thursday. Where some people who wrote this exam travel to do it. Who is going to pay for the cost? So I think that's my only contribution. That's my contribution.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. Anyway, just a quick information. So guys, you know, uh I've gotten a senior advocate, currently working on by tomorrow we should have a document ready and then we'll proceed to court. Yeah. The whole idea is to ensure that there's a court order restraining JAMB from conducting the receipting anytime. If you want to be part of this, if you want to support it, please come to my DM. All right. But regardless, we're going to make it happen. That I can assure you that except maybe our judicial system decides to fail, but we're going to ensure that this happens because for the first time, let's stand up for ourselves and fight for the future of young people in this country. Because if you can attack every other thing, but the education system, I think that's the only way to grow the GDP of this country. That is the only way to grow to develop the country. Yeah. So if you deprive people of education, then you simply don't care about the society. And I mean, uh, I can overlook that of the presidency, but this one, no, it's I think it's too much to ask for. Anyway, very quickly we are going to have Akokaria. Please, you're going to come in. Then after you, we have I think Flying Scholar came in before Shehu. Shehu, please mute your mic, sir. Thank you, if you don't mind. Flying Scholar came in before you. Akokaria, please go. Just make it 2 minutes, please, if you can. Akokaria, are you there? Okay. It appears Akokaria is not here. So let's have Flying Scholar. Please go ahead.
Okay, hi Jack. Thank you so much for calling me up. Hi everyone. A lot has been said already, and honestly, I feel very sad, but it is what it is. It's the country in which we identify with for now. I don't know. So, one of the things I wanted to point out or seek clarification on, first of all, I want to appreciate you for hosting this space and your last update you shared regarding the restrainer you're working towards to ensure JAM doesn't proceed with setting up any exams. That's highly commendable. Thank you so much for that. What I wanted to ask or seek clarification on was with this term negotiation. Someone said it earlier. So I'm wondering who are those people? Who are these people negotiating and on whose behalf? Because within this space, just as I think that was it Mr. Odun? Maybe he left. He did mention that he's a parent. I also have a younger brother who sat for this exam. So I was thinking maybe there would be parents on this call who know the people that are negotiating and they are fully aware that their consents were sought. Like, hey guys, I am negotiating on your behalf. Was any of that done? I know the answer to that would be a quick no. Otherwise, some people would have said, I know the person who is negotiating on my behalf and I give my consent. So that one for me is a red flag, because if issues pertaining you are being discussed in your absence, it means decisions will be taken that might not favor you. So perhaps in this legal move you want to make, maybe one of the things you also need to put in writing is that nobody should negotiate on behalf of parents without consulting them, especially those affected by this situation. So you might want to add that as well. So whatever negotiations they are having wouldn't have an effect on those people who are directly impacted by this situation. Then Mr. Don spoke so much about logistics. I wanted to talk about that, but there's no point, adding more to that, because my brother happens to be one of those who also suffered as a result of being moved from, not just from his center, he was moved to another state, from River State to Edo State, where he has never been to before. It was just by the grace of God he managed to come to have a score we can say yes, it's something manageable to move to the next level and hopefully get him an admission. So I would want to summarize with this. Everybody, I keep hearing a mixture of either scrapping JAM or allowing them rewrite. People of God, my fellow Nigerians, scrapping should be what we should be agitating for or advocating for. How many more young people have to die? You talk about SAT, you talk about maybe other international exams. How many young people have died as a result of frustration due to their incompetence of administering these exams? One thing about us Nigerians is the fact that resilience, why resilience seems to be one of our major strong skills, it's also our undoing. Because there are two sides to it. You could be resilient and it becomes something positive for you. You can also be resilient and it becomes something negative, because then you start tolerating and tolerating, and before you know, you now become the victim in the whole of the situation. Like we go talk and for pigeon, mumu don't enter be that. So at what point are we going to stop tolerating this rubbish? JAM just has to go. It's as simple as that. Would it be when 10 kids die, that's when people will come out on the streets? Or because this particular child is not from our family? No, it could have been anybody. It could have been any child. Today, the person is from Lagos. Tomorrow, it could be from the east. Tomorrow, it could be from the north. We must act not only when it comes to our house. It could have been anybody. So my statement, or my living statement would be the fact that we don't need to push for a rewrite, a cancellation. It just has to go. Because if after everything, the students still have to undergo another assessment at the institutions, then what is the impact of JAM? This is just duplication. These guys are exploiting poor families. Why did the institution come up with their post-UME? Was it because they had trust in JAM? These are the questions we should ask. So it is up to the parents, because the institutions cannot ask JAM to stop. Otherwise, it looks like an institution is fighting another institution. But it is up to we, who are the clients, to say enough is enough. We want to pay for one exam. So perhaps the next time we have this kind of space should be to start mobilizing, galvanizing efforts to say, time to stop JAM. We want only post-UME. Assess our children. If you think they are good enough for your institution, please admit them. If not, they go and read more and come back. So on that note, I would like to hand over the mic, but just to say, if we want something done, JAM has to go. No other child has to die. Otherwise, it means this girl's death didn't affect any of us. Because if this girl didn't take her life, JAM wouldn't have come out today to tell us there were technical glitches. They would have just let it slide. In 2016, the same thing had to be corrected. When people were angry, and They had to put 40 marks across board for everybody. I saw those on the comments some days back. And now you're telling these children they have to rewrite? How? No, you have to go. Don't set anything, just go. So I don't know. That's this is just a suggestion. We should start thinking about it. Stand and stop it. It has to end. Nobody should die again. Because she's not coming back. On that note, I say thank you. Thank you so very much for the opportunity to contribute.
All right, thank you, my sister. So personally, I don't even think that, JAMB did not, make this statement because of the girl that died. Apparently, they had even swept that under the carpet. You know, if not that, some people were so convinced deep down in their heart that there's something wrong somewhere, and they had to send freedom of information request to JAMB saying no, your system has to be subjected to some sort of scrutiny and all of that. If not for that, if not for people like Alex Onya, Osita Chidoka, and some parents, that took this upon themselves, went to Arise News and started talking about it, we will not be here. But my only concern, my biggest concern, is the fact that from the preliminary report that Alex Onya dropped, you could see that it stated clearly that there was an error until the 17th session before JAMB corrected it. So that means they knew that something was wrong, but they didn't say anything. And they even defended the results. So that means that these things were premeditated. It was like they knew about it. They knew that there was an error in their systems and they didn't say anything. So something is wrong. This is where I think that they have to take responsibility. And some of them actually have to pay for it. That's the whole point I'm trying to make, because they know that this thing has happened, but they didn't say anything. So, unfortunately, this is the kind of country where we live in, where people don't pay for anything, no consequences whatsoever, nothing. Akokari, are you back? If you're not here, let's go with Sheung. Okay, Sheung, please go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon. Oh, that would be depending on where you are. Good evening. I want to thank everybody. I've been listening to a lot of submissions earlier, and in fact, the last one by Jack is just spot on. Um, it's quite disheartening. Um, First of all, I will take a 3 seconds pause for the lady that lost her life. May her soul rest in peace. This is really bad. It's so sad, very sad. Initially, when I actually got this information, stumbled on it on Twitter. It was more like, what is going on with JAMB again? I know this said professor has actually been one of a very good administrator when it comes to this reforming JAMB for the past few years, but this particular one should not be swept under the carpet. Like everybody has already agreed on this call, it's not a matter of you doing the right thing over the years. This one is something it's unforgiving. You can't just let this slide. And what makes it sad, just like Jack said, is the error was spotted, and in the spirit of accountability and transparency, they should have come out to actually acknowledge this happened before they're being called out. That's why I want to really salute the parents and, of course, Alex. I've seen Alex post and the advocacy and everything they, with the rest of the parents, have done regarding this case. If they never brought this up, I'm sure nothing would have happened. They would have honed up to it. And what even made it worse is the Minister of Education. I'm reading here that he said that the failure I mean, the mass failure is as a result of the anti-exam malpractice systems working. I'm trying to imagine how it feels right now, having the professor himself acknowledging the error, the so-called glitch on the system when they already failed every. It's so sad. The fact that you have to believe these young minds are the future of the country, and at a certain age, in their 16s, in their 17s, already experiencing the failure of our country, Nigeria, from this perspective is so sad. Myself, through my small NGO, sponsored a few of these JAMB guys. I mean, students to write JAMB. And when I started hearing this failure news, I felt really bad. Not even because of the money spent, but because of the stress these people went through. I remember on the day of the JAMB, I still got a call about one of them mentioning that their JAMB center was not where they are meant to be. They had to travel a couple of miles again and all. I had to, support them with that and all that. Someone getting to have that kind of situation, how do you expect them to even make sense out of the exam? On top of that, you are done with the exam and then you start seeing some funny results. That's why I salute those parents that actually, I read a tweet earlier with someone saying that last year their offspring took the exam, prepared in like a month, got about 250 something. This time they prepared over 6 months and they're getting 120 something. They are certain. I can imagine such a trust in their kid that this person wouldn't have lost this bad. It's so bad that a country, what infuriates me, it's the level of irresponsibility coming from this quarter. It's so bad that if they were not called out, nobody would have known anything happened. So going by this basis, it's so clear that over the years, probably things like this might have been happening, but because the percentage of failure has been so low, nobody cared about it. And the idea that destinies of people are being rewritten is so pronounced right now. Because I, for one, I can tell you stories like this would never end. You can't tell me you would reschedule a retake of an exam 2 days. If I'm right, it's going to be heard 2 days from now. How do you guarantee these students are going to be in their full sense to take this exam and get the best scores? How can a country be this? Who are the thinkers? How can a country be this bad? You don't have people that think in this country, for God's sake. I don't understand how you would think of this. At least you should give some people cushion. You can't just come up with this arrangement in 2 days and let anybody write an exam and believing they will. Nobody would get off this. Even if they retake it, trust me, they cannot perform as the first time. It is something that we should all understand. This is me coming from what I've written a couple of exams, professional and all that. Maybe I don't have phobia for exams anymore. But back in those days, it's something that JAMB is a JAMB, the way it used to be. It's so crazy that even you writing JAMB, before the glitches, you are like, okay, what do I get out of this? And then you probably get something and then you're like, okay, I think this pretty much looks like what I would have gotten eventually. But now, they had a glitch which they acknowledged and they want to retake, and they hope all these guys will be in their full state of mind to write this exam and get the best results. It's so bad. The God proposes man, man proposes, God proposes thing is so it's so bad. I don't know what else to say, but it's so bad. What I would advise him to do right now is just to resign and bring some young minds into this system. Like someone earlier mentioned, if you understand the level of nepotism that goes on in this country, people that are not fit, that are not competent to be in ministries, to run policies for that country, are actually in those seats. If we don't have all these bright minds that are tackling and doing a lot of good things in this country, this country will still keep going to the wrong direction. So I want to say, retaking, just like you raised it. Of course, I would be sliding into your DM to also join in this voice. Retaking does not make sense. It does. I mean, retaking in 2 days does not make sense. If they would even be retaking, it has to be the entire exam itself, and they should give ample time for people to actually be in the right state of mind. They should take responsibility. At this point, telling anybody to retake the exam in the first place is you shifting the responsibility to the takers of these exams. If JAMB is not going to be taking response, I don't really know how they want to do it. But a lot of money, a lot of expenses have been spent. I personally can attest to that, based on the sponsors and all that. But that is even by the way. But if this expense is not covered by JAMB, they don't have that justification to push. Because when you're saying that you retake and you're like just chilling in wherever you are, just going to be marking the exam again and feel it's all justified, then it doesn't make sense. Coupled with the fact that the last speaker mentioning, I'm sure there are a lot of crazy things that happened, kidnap and some other things that nobody heard about. Just because the suicide is probably was in the urban area or someone was able to tweet it on Twitter, that's why he's making headlines right now. I'm sure a lot of other people are already in some mess right now, and nobody is hearing about it. I'm not sure he even mentioned this in this press release and all that, and then this crocodile tears and all that. I don't want to start saying some foul languages, but it's so bad. It's so bad, it's so bad, and everything we should be talking about in this space is just that it's so bad. There's absolutely no way this should pass. I yield my mic. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shehu. Akukari, are you here now? Okay, appears you're still not here. All right. Okay, so we're going to have Dredu de Dua. What's that? Dredua, please go ahead. Yeah, Dre Dudua. Dre Dudua. You can just call me Dre for short. Oh, okay, So Dre. Please go ahead. Yeah. yeah, so I'm a graduate of computer science, Federal University of Agriculture, and I can just tell how terrible the educational system has gotten over the course of the years, right? And it's really very disappointing that people. Well, when growing up, people, like my friends didn't commit suicide because they actually like fail their exam. But the fact that these poor teenagers and kids are actually going to the point of killing themselves, right? People should take responsibility for their actions, for their negligence and their lack of preparation. Because first of all, like the IT architecture of this country is nowhere to be found. I'm sure for a fact that they pay a very good amount, some amount of money to the people that actually write this code and build these databases. But because there's nobody to inspect them and to actually like put them on check, this thing has been happening for years. This is not the first time Jam has been doing this rubbish that people just fail randomly. I remember my time when I wrote, I can't remember the year. There was always this issue of color. There's a new person on seats that is making new decisions. There's a lot of politics going on that has been ruining the lives of people. My junior brother wrote jam like 3 times until he gave up on writing exams, and I just started learning a trade and working, right. It doesn't make sense. I think at this point, children and kids should start looking for alternative. It's possible without going to uni to actually learn some skills, right? And have a active LinkedIn account. Right now in digital age, in digital world, people don't care if you like you have like a school certificate anymore, as long as you can actually provide solutions for them. that's in the context of digitalism, right? I've known a lot of teenagers that are actually like working tech jobs that are actually like going to school or probably are in school. So in as much as the students might actually have given up that okay they have to keep writing exams, I think we start encouraging young people that they could actually be useful in the labor market if they are willing to like learn some skill and just give them some hope and not just like make them feel bad regarding the situation of the country and the negligence when it comes to like building a better future for them. And I'm really sad about the situation of the girl. So, and also this is also like a warning to our parents. I remember back when I was still writing exams, anytime I feel a particular course or anytime I'm anxious about like checking my results, right? My dad always like tease me, telling me that probably I didn't read, that's why I failed. I know it's an African thing, the whole tough love, right? But right now that society is getting very soft and like we are not as tough as we used to be, right? I think we should adjust the way we motivate our like our younger ones and not be too hard on them. I'm sure that was the case of the girl that committed suicide because sometimes parents can be very hard on the children and then they might just interpret it for just probably hatred and lack of motivation. So what I would suggest that people should inspire other young people about other ways to be useful to society and to their family, regardless of the dogmatic approach to academics, which can very disappointing because in today's world, right, there are many ways to make money. There are a lot of like celebrities out there that make money digitally, and not everyone would go to school. So I think like people should be more like fluid and not be so dogmatic regarding like academic. Like there are many ways to actually be relevant to society, and we should encourage our youth to be creative thinkers and be fluid regarding their learning. That's pretty much what I want to say. Thanks for the opportunity to talk. All right, thank you so much. So guys, I mean there are a couple of requests, but unfortunately I'm not able to take requests anymore tonight. I mean we've been up for close to 5 hours now. So I need to take a bit rest right now, yeah. I mean it's quite so if you want to contribute to being part of the class action, yeah, against jump, please come to my DM. You know um it's quite expensive actually, but it's something that has to be done. It's something that I believe that needs to be done, right? They are spreading it everywhere. I mean, they are beginning to. I'm seeing another report from start sense that there's a Owerri zone, there's Lagos zone, and all of that. So I really think that Jamb has a lot of questions to answer. If I were in their position, I'll probably maybe host a space tomorrow, where somebody, a senior staff somewhere that really genuinely would have to answer some of the questions we have, because there are so many things to ask and then nobody is able to answer these questions. So there are so many things, there are so many gray areas in the whole report that we are getting that we need to ask real clarifications on, before we're able to take informed actions. But be that as it may, the important thing is to actually stop the exams that they want to happen in 2 days time, which I think is unfair to these people that were affected. So like I said, if you want to be part of it, you can DM me, and join those that will say no to this madness, right? The rascality in our country is getting too much, and then at some point, some people would have to stand up and say, no, you can't do this, right? You can't do this. And the fact that they affected the whole state in Southeast, like not like Anambra and Abia was affected. You can say, oh, okay. I mean, that's fine. But we are saying that the whole state in Southeast were affected. So somebody that was supposed to run a patch did not run a patch for the whole Southeast state. That person should be meant to pay. That's all we're saying. And then compensate these children that you are sending back to write these exams. Compensate them. And somebody should take responsibility, compensate them. There has to be some level of restitution from JAMB. If you're not doing this, then it means you're not even sorry. It means your cries is crocodile tears. Because if JAMB is going to be remitting 50 billion, 60 billion, 70 billion to the federal government, people are hungry, like people are genuinely suffering on the streets of this country. Are we not understanding that? So if people are suffering, the best you can do is to at least, the fact that you know that this is your own fault, right? It's not their fault. Then there has to be a way to compensate them. Do you understand? If you're going to say, oh, the 14,000 you paid for this exam, we are going to refund it to you, at least let that be a way to say sorry, and then you can now, add it to your transportation or whatever thing, for whatever inconveniences it must have cost you. At least let this be what JAMB is using to say we are sorry for what happened. There has to be some level of this thing. So, but when everybody keeps quiet, they keep doing everything they want to do, the same way JAMB did whatever they liked. I think it's really unfair at this point. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining this evening. I really appreciate you. I will give updates tomorrow, as to where we are, and then we take it off from there. If we have to hit the streets, we are going to do that. I mean, if that is the only thing we are going to do this year, to actually get the government to listen this time, I think it's worth doing, honestly, if you ask me. So on this note, I will be ending this space. Thank you so much.